we'll wait for people to tap in, but this stays recorded, so we'll just dive right in. All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to our daily show. My name is Kika Gilman, your fearless immigration attorney, here today with our senior case manager, Miss Alejandra Santa. Today, we are going to talk about marriage-based green cards, which is a huge part of our practice here at the Gilman Immigration Law Firm. A lot of you guys may or may not know, I got my green card through my husband. It was actually our anniversary yesterday, so feel free to send me some champagne or some gifts, accepting flowers through the rest of October. But we're gonna Alejandra, she works very closely with all the attorneys. She is probably the most experienced non-attorney in our law firm. She deals with couples for all kinds of marriage-based green card cases, with a green card holder spouse, a U.S. citizen spouse, with children as beneficiaries, consular processing. And so we're going to walk through today we're going to talk about some of the issues that we have seen with marriage-based green card cases and how you can overcome those. So Alejandra, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Alejandra. As basically said, I am the case manager at the Yemen Immigration Law. And of course, yes, we work with marriage cases from all over the planet, basically, like people from everywhere doing petition for children, from like for parents with children, like spouses. So we have experienced many issues sometimes with clients. I want to start by saying that one of the most important things that Misiki always say and that we always tell our clients is that they have to be honest. Like since the beginning, we always have to be honest with USCIS about everything in their lives. How many times they have been divorced, and if they have indeed have been divorced. That's have been one of the biggest issues that we have had in our office, because sometimes people come to us and say, "Oh yeah, we are divorced," and they get the divorce paper and everything. But when we look into the document, sometimes it's not even legit, the divorce paper, and we have to look like what's going on. We look for answers. We look to see like how the divorce paper should be, and we are our clients to get them as soon as possible. But that's one of the biggest situation that we had in different countries. But we overcome that because before we even send the case to USCIS, of course, we review the file, we review the evidence, and when we review the evidence, we catch that problem, and automatically we tell the client, look, this is not real. You need to get it like correctly, because this is not the correct divorce decree. Sometimes people think they are married to a US citizen, but they are not, because the divorce paper from back home is not legit, so they have to remarry again and get a new marriage certificate. So that's one of the situations that we have, like this, like over the years, it's been like divorce papers has been the biggest issue. Yeah.
And Alex, let's talk about the countries where we see these issues come from the most. What's the
Yeah, I
country?
was gonna. Yeah, the first one will be Nigeria. So
See?
Nigeria is one of the of those countries that comes to us, and we have to like look for new divorce papers. Liberia has the same type of issue. Those are like top African countries that we always have to look like for answers. Then I will say like Ghana, we have sometimes issue, but main one is always Nigeria. I don't know what happens there, but
Yeah, so I
yeah.
can share. So, as some of you guys may or may not know, I am Nigerian, and so I understand the complexities when it comes to civil documents coming from Nigeria. So let me just put it out there: is there fraud? Are there fraudulent documents that come out of Nigeria? Absolutely, but is there also a kind of a preconceived notion and a bias against Nigerians when USCIS is reviewing documents? 100%. I feel like when they see these divorce decrees or birth certificates, their first presumption is it is fake, prove otherwise. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through when you're applying for a marriage-based green card, the things that you need to look out for. Number one, if you have any prior marriages, we need to know, right? Not only to confirm that the divorce decrees are valid, but also, did those prior marriages result in a immigration process? Did you file for someone in the past? Did they file for you? What was the outcome? That is very, very important. Having done this for 15 years, I can tell you If you come to USCIS and they're looking like, wait a minute, this is your third marriage to an immigrant, and you have tried getting a green card, or you've tried filing for other people in the past, that's going to be a red flag. So your amount of marriages in the past and how those went is really, really important. Another thing that's really important, you got to make sure that everything that you said in your, B1, B2 application, your F1 application, your H2B, your J1, your H1B, these are all the different kinds of visas you can use to enter the United States temporarily, is consistent when you go to apply for that marriage green card. Some of the issues we're seeing is USCIS at the marriage-based green card interview, they go, but wait a minute, you said that you were married in your home country to XYZ. So what happened to that? And then when you file a marriage green card, you say that you were never married. And so now there's a discrepancy that you have to resolve. Another thing is the income. So when we do our consultations, one of the most important screening questions is how much money does your US citizen or green card holder petitioner make? Like, because you got to meet a certain income requirement, right? There's a certain level for US military, and then everyone else 125% of the federal poverty guideline. If not, you need a co-sponsor or assets. Well, sometimes, people tell us, oh, I make $100,000. And then we look at their taxes and it's like 20,000. Wait a minute. What? Where's the other 80? Like your taxes have to make sense. And I'm not a tax attorney. I'm not here to give you advice on tax, but please make sure your taxes are in order, because remember, USCIS and the Department of Revenue, they're all governmental agencies and they all interact. And if we're looking at your taxes and something ain't adding up, that's going to be a problem. So please make sure your what you claim to make is consistent with what your taxes say, your W-2 and your 1099. Another issue, and Alejandra, I'm gonna let you talk about how we maneuver these, is when, marriages, I say, come in different shapes, sizes, colors. It's like, flavor of the day, right? We've had all kinds of cases. But when you have a marriage where maybe it's not traditional, maybe you're not living in the same place for whatever reason, someone's going to school, someone has a job somewhere else, someone has to care for family members, but you try to present it like you're living together. That is where you run into some serious problems with USCIS, because it's okay not to live together as long as you're gonna, right? Mm-hmm. It's okay to live in a home with other people. Some families, they have to all conserve their resources and all live in one home. I know some people who the grandmother lives there, the uncle, the aunt, the cousins, everyone lives there. That is okay. That is how your life is showing up right now. Be honest about it, right? Where you run into problems is where you try to pretend like, oh yeah, we live in this address, and then USCIS shows up at your house and your partner is not there because they're going to school in a different state, but you were scared to talk about that. Or let's say you are having a difficult time in your marriage at some point. Maybe you're separated, right? There's nowhere in the immigration code where it says if you separate, your marriage is not real. No. You can be separated because relationships can have ups and downs. So, case types of names that have had issues.
Yeah, and we also, to add, Misiki, we also have cases when they have to work in different states. Like nurses that travel around the USA, they cannot be in the same apartment all the time. They have to be separately. We have those of situations like careers split them, but that doesn't mean they're not happy. That doesn't mean they're not together. So when we have these type of cases, the main thing that we focus on getting for clients first are good affidavits. Affidavits from family members and friends that know about this marriage, that they can say, yes, I know Alejandra, let's say me, is married with this person. I met her in 2024. I went to their wedding. I know they love each other. I know she's a nurse. I know he lives in another state, but they see each other. They talk to each other every day over the phone. We need to tell USCIS, because testimonies from people are key, because it's what they see, the reality of their lives for our clients. But besides the affidavit, we also ask our clients to prove of conversations. daily conversations, because they do a lot of video calls since they cannot see each other every day. So they send screenshots of the logins of those phone calls they do every day, the text messages they exchange, because this daily, and like, what are you doing? Where are you? I'm at work. I'm going home. Like, they're, even though they're not together, they're in touch. They're never separate or anything like that. So those are like one of the most important things that we show to USCIS. Of course, we also ask clients for pictures whenever they have a chance to be together. We tell them, okay, we need those pictures when you have dates. When you are
Mhm.
separated for 1 month, 2 or 2 months, and you see your spouse again, you go for dinner, of course, because you didn't see your partner for a long time. So they also give pictures to us. And when we put those pictures, we always put a description, because you cannot send pictures of happy people. That's what I tell our clients. I cannot send pictures of happy people. They don't care. They need to know when exactly you took that picture. So they know that it was during the relationship. It can be 2 months ago, 1 month ago, and if they have been married for 1 year, I ask them for the last months. Give me one for each month if you have, as much as you can get to me, and I put the description in there. When I saw my husband again in 2024, and I'm not dating on the zoo with the family, we need a lot of that information. So there's nothing to be afraid, because we have cases, like Misiki said, we have cases before that they don't live together, and we want them,
Yes.
because we explain to USCIS and we show them that even though they are not like in the same place, we have the letters, we have the conversations, we have the pictures, and even they have things together like a bank account together. Even if they're in different states, they can still use the same bank account, and the officer can see the transcribe the statements. Like when they use the credit card or debit card, they can see it right there. So you need to have a really creative attorney also, because if you don't have a good attorney, it's not gonna give you like the exact evidence and guidance you need, and that's for sure. Not everyone knows how to handle cases like this. You have to be really meticulous and know exactly what the office is gonna look like. And even though you send all of that evidence, and they're gonna come back and they're gonna say no, but you don't live together, we still
Mhm.
fight. And we
Yeah.
have done it before.
Ex-
We are like, look, you are not paying attention, you are not seeing the case. We send you everything, and I don't understand why you're asking for an RP. Why you're asking for more evidence? We send them the same, and with a severe cover letter that, of course, the attorney does, letting them know, like, pay attention. What are you doing right here? So there's nothing to be afraid. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, and that's Ale, you pointed at something really critical. That being a creative attorney. So that's one of the things that I truly believe distinguishes me from a lot of my colleagues. Like I am very creative, right? I am very, very creative. I think outside the box because you have to. Because these are
Hmm.
people showing up in so many different ways, right? And then you have these statutes where you have to try to figure out and maneuver to fit. And of course, we're not talking about VAWA today. That's going to be, I think, tomorrow. But we see that a lot in VAWA cases where we have to do the declarations and basically take whatever they have and put it in. That happens in marriage-based green card cases too, where you don't have like a perfect life. Like we have a house, we have our apartments, we're both in the lease, we have all our bank accounts together, we have all our credit cards, we have our IKEA furniture. I mean, we've seen RFEs where USCIS is like, well, you don't have evidence like IKEA furniture. And I'm like, people are trying to survive. What do you mean
Yeah.
IKEA furniture? So that just goes to show you how they think. They're very like, boxed mind, very robotic. They expect everyone to be the same. But this
Mhm.
is where it says, no, 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 no. This is real life. People are showing up as they are. This is what they have. John and Susan are not going to be like Eduardo and Marta, right? There is going to be a
Exactly.
totally different situation, but they still have the intent to start a life together. And that's the one really important thing that we constantly have to remind USCIS about is it's not about what the marriage looked like later. It's about what was the intent at the start. As long as we can show that and they cannot prove otherwise, and we only have to show 51% more likely than not, then what's the problem? But I would say though, Alejandra, right now with everything that's going on, would you say that these marriage-based green card cases now more than ever need the proper guidance? Would you say that?
Exactly. You need the proper guidance, because they're gonna come back for nonsense. They're gonna
Hmm.
make it difficult. difficult because they don't read, they don't search, they don't research what they have right there. They only, like Misiki says, they're like a box. They just see the name. Oh, they don't see enough. Buy next. Okay, buy next. They don't even dig in to analyze what, like, why they don't live together, why we send those letters specifying why they don't live together, why they don't have things as a couple. So yeah, everyone is like an attorney, like, and more right now, and
Yeah.
someone creative, like someone that knows what they're doing. No, any attorney that says, I know about marriage cases, because we have seen cases that people that come to us after they filed their marriage case, and they get an RFE, a request for evidence, and we are like, why did attorney did before? Why we're getting this now? What happened with the first application? Like, it was a big mess. Attorneys sometimes they don't even know like what they're doing, but we do, because we handle all type of situations, like
Yeah.
many type of situations in marriage cases. So for real, people needs guidance. Yeah, you
Yeah,
need
we've
someone that is fierce.
exactly feroz, right? No, we've really
Yeah.
seen it all. And I would say like the cases that really bring out our creativity the most, Alejandra, I don't even think it's the ones that we have to start from scratch. I think it's the ones that we try to fix, right? The ones where they've
Oh,
screwed up, and it's hard because now they have a record, right? You've said things, you've presented things, and now we're coming in, we're trying to fix a mess. And to be honest, sometimes we're successful, but sometimes you've created such a disaster. We can only Hail Mary, right? Like in Los Manos,
exactly.
we just hope that God can handle it, because it's coming to us in such rough shape. But we've been able to turn around some cases that were either pro bono by yourself, or something happened and it doesn't go well, and now we have to fix it.
Yeah.
Another thing before we leave, for those of you who are on here, or those of you who are going to watch this later, this administration, be very careful. If you file a marriage-based green card and it is denied, the I-485, or let's say the I-130 is withdrawn, you are being sent to immigration court. Immigration court is not a place you want to be right now. It's drag out your process. It's going to cost you a lot of money. I always tell, every time I do these, educational lives, I say, first ask yourself if remaining in the United States is a priority for you. That's the first question. And if it is, you need to invest in that. Because trying to be save and do it on your own, oh, I don't need a lawyer, I'm going to go on YouTube, lawyers are too, I have this little paralegal, it's going to cost you. Because are there people who sometimes do it on their own and they're fine? Yeah. Some people get lucky.
Hmm.
Problem is when you don't get through and you make a mistake, those mistakes are costly, and sometimes, honestly, there's no coming back. So if you answer the question, yes, remaining in the United States is a priority for me. It's something I want to do. I see my future here. I see my potential here. I want to build a future. I want to build my legacy. I want to set the stage for the people to come after me. You gotta invest in yourself. That's it. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, sorry, we started a little late today because it does just things happen. But Alejandra and I will be here again tomorrow. Ale, what's the topic for
Hmm.
tomorrow? What's the topic for do you
Tomorrow, no, I think Bagua, you mentioned
Oh,
it earlier.
your favorite topic. Okay, great.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love it.
Okay, we didn't have any questions today, but I mean, this live will be posted. It will remain on YouTube and Facebook, and you guys can always watch it later. Until then, you guys, our phone number is on the screen, 612-453-2691, 612-453-2691. Go ahead and call. For the month of October through the end, we are doing 15% off on all marriage-based green card cases and VAWA cases to celebrate our anniversary, which was yesterday, October 15th. So don't miss out on that. Give us a call, and we are here to assist you.